Hi everybody, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food on both Facebook and YouTube. And here we are in April, and that is no joke. How did this happen? I still can't believe it. Well, I have a quote for you. Sugar is a type of bodily fuel, yes, but your body runs about as well on it as would a car. Do you love that? As much as I do. So somebody did a little testimony on my Facebook page, and although it was very nice and flattering for me, I'm not doing this to take credit, but all I'm doing is to tell you that she changed her way of eating. She went to low carb, high fat, which was good, and she lost some weight, and then stalled. And suddenly, some people do stall. I know people stall on keto diets as well. First, there's the initial, and think about Weight Watchers. Sometimes we stall on Weight Watchers too. So maybe the first month is great for most food plans, and then the body kind of adjusts and maybe resets or something, right? Where the weight doesn't come off quite as fast. And anyway, so she was tra-la-lying along, and I called her out one day because she popped a Butterfinger. She was like real good all day, and then at night she just popped this Butterfinger into her mouth. Raise your hand if you've ever done that before. Yeah. So anyway, so there's so many funny parts about the Butterfinger, right? First of all, somebody bought it and brought it into the house. Who would that have been? And then it's there, and probably in some sort of dish that's exposed, right? So it's like, all these leading factors to like, well, you did the most natural thing you could. You had it in a dish. There you are thinking you're a normal person. Well, you're not with your food. And so, pop it went. But anyway, after a bit of a struggle, she had given up grains, she had given up bread and pasta and pizza and all that kind of stuff. And but not the sugar. She was still holding on to the sugar. And don't we all hold on to something? That last thing that we hold on to. And for me, it always will be my coffee. And not necessarily bulletproof coffee, just the idea of coffee itself. And so she gave up sugar, and she'd been sugar-free for the week. And, I loved my video on the sugar is the gateway drug, and it is. Sugar and some carbs, some grains, light up our brain like a Christmas tree. And sugar, we're just coming off of the final sugar holiday for at least a while. And it just doesn't suit us well. It's a drug, it's a drug, it's a drug. And all the different types of sugar are so addictive, and it's all in the plan. The high fructose corn syrup. If you've ever watched any podcasts on that, any videos, or read any articles on that, what that does to our system. And the food manufacturers were wetting themselves. They were so excited when they discovered this because it's so much more sweeter than sugar and so much cheaper to produce. And so when they do this, and if you hear the scientists, doctors, talk about what it does to our system, and, people that end up with diabetes or diabesity from being overweight and having diabetes at the same time, the spikes to our blood sugar and that wow, 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 wow. Think of us like an appliance. If we were like a blender, eventually we're just going to give out. We're just going to be worn down from like high and low and high and low. And we just get, our bodies, our systems just get exhausted. Not to mention our adrenals with that pump of the sugar. And so sugar is still our gateway drug. There's nothing new here to discover or talk about. It's just learning how to live without it and being safe. And, my journey with sugar is in lots of different videos. But the thing is to, as I said in a video recently, turn that puppy over that you're putting in your cart and read. Find out what all those sugars are. And if you can't identify what the sugar is on the ingredient, look at how many carbs there are in it. And if it's a bag or a can or a box, something frozen, there's a good chance that there is sugar somewhere lurking in it. And it might not seem like such a big deal, but it keeps your body. If you think of sugar as like heroin, you're keeping a little bit in your body all the time. So your body is always looking for more because it is addictive and your brain likes to be lit up. So when you turn something, when you buy something like some article of a grain that's made into something like a cracker or bread or even a cookie, a cookie is going to have more sugar, obviously. But those other things that heretofore we wouldn't think of as being sugary are. And so when you turn that over and you see what the carb amount is in it, it might not be just the flour, even though all the sugars have the different names. There's something like 55 different names for sugar. I'm sure that's changing all the time. And don't think that using alternative sugars, like not alternatives like the xyla and the xylitol, but the or stevia, the ones that the packet ones, the blue, yellow, green, not green, blue, yellow, pink, and I throw in Truvia as well. All these little processed packets that might not be good for you too, or your blood sugar. So just know that keeps you, and I know that artificial sugars, like in diet sodas and things like that, they stimulate your appetite. So I don't know what all the chemicals do once they're inside of you. That's a higher pay grade than me. But if they're exciting you in a way that makes you want to have another diet soda or more of this or more of that, a diet soda is not a BBC. It is not a better bad choice. You need to know that a diet soda, you might as well have the one with the sugar in it, because the artificial sugars are not meant to be in your body. Your body doesn't know what to do with those. And it does damage over time, especially if you become nicely addicted to it, like the food manufacturers hope you are. So be careful with the sugar. Know that it's still there, even when you think that you've given it up and you're trotting along fine and your tracker says you can have everything. Those sugars are lurking in those foods that it's just absolutely amazing. And it's real easy to look for sugar or high fructose corn syrup when you're flipping over the item to see what's in it. But it's all those other ones like the mannitol and the dextrose and just all those things. And I was having, I like an uncured bacon that I buy from Vermont. And somebody says, be careful, it's got sugar in it. It doesn't have any sugar in it. There's absolutely no grams of sugar in it. But some things are cured with sugars as well. So, just be very, very careful and know that the addiction, that cute little snack size thing is heroin to a lot of us, to our brains, to our stomachs, to our psyche, to our journey, to our progress. Try to stay away from sugar as best you can. Try to give it up as best you can. Once you give up, for me and a lot of other people that have given up grains and sugar, the cravings and the triggers all stop. And even when I'm presented, because I work at a place that gets these food items that used to be my drugs of choice, which would be cake and frosting, they don't have that same pull. Initially they do. It's like the, it's like the primal thing inside of me. Ooh, sugar, frosting, and it's a lot of frosting. Ooh, boy. I'm not pulled as much. It does take a while. I've been on this diet, this food plan, low carb, high fat, for about 8 months now. And, the changes are ever happening. And, I've OD'd on fats and oils that I thought were like, oh, you can have as much as you want. No, you can't. I mean, let's face it, as women, we can't. Even though, you might be listening to somebody that says, have all you want, don't count calories. Well, I have to track. I have to pay attention to my fat, carb, and protein ratios, and I have to pay attention to the calorie count. Not crazy, but, I have to be observant. I have to be in the game. I have to be observant of it. So, steer clear of the sugar. It is still our gateway drug. It leads us back to sugar. It leads us back to carbs. It leads us back to garbage. It leads us back to all those grains. It's not safe out there. Those food manufacturers know that too. They just don't want you to know. They are crafty, clever, and ever changing the game to keep you hooked. Hey, have a wonderful day, despite what I'm talking about. Go and track. Leave out the sugar. Bye-bye for now.